Hello, my fellow cigar smokers, and welcome to Smokers Spot and another episode of The Night Owl. And tonight we are smoking the Cuban classic Cohiba Robusto. You know, interesting fact is that I was getting this cigar out of my humidor. I was smelling at it and I thought, dude, that's smelling like cheese. It's totally crazy. And when I'm smelling now at it, no cheese at all. I don't know what was in my nose at that time. Earth and leather. Oh, it wasn't so good. Look at this. A little bit uneven. But who cares? Good draw. Hey. Wood. Let's burn it. The night owl, my friends, again. But today it's actually early, not even midnight. But I just finished the last round with my two dogs because they were kind of nervous somehow, and I thought I'm getting out a little bit earlier than usual. So, and you know, everybody was in bed. My wife's sleeping. Both of my kids are already in their bed sleeping. Well, I don't know if they're sleeping, but it's dark in their rooms and I hear nothing. And I see no light like from a mobile or so. So I assume they were sleeping. But you never know. Because I was a kid. Of course there were nothing like mobiles or something. I was always smuggling a book in my bed, and when I was listening, and then when I was pretty sure that my mom's already in bed, I started reading. I had a little light, like a torchlight, and I was reading hours. Crazy times. Oh, wonderful, effortless draw. Getting this woodish creaminess that is coming through. That's this typical Cohiba flavor. Nice. That's a good start. I spent most of my day today outside. It was fantastic. For 3 days in a row now, we have more or less good weather. No raining, no snow. It's getting warmer. So I was recording 2 videos today outside in the garden. The long-awaited Cohiba. What a coincidence. The Cohiba Vehicle 52 review I was recording today, and I won't say a word right now because it's a surprise how it was. And a cigar talk. And I was working a little bit in the garden. Getting some old stuff out. And I was taking care of my new barbecue. I got a new smoker that I was preparing yesterday and today. And, well, basically just hanging out outside, you know. Nothing more than this hoodie I have right now, this sweatshirt. It was enough. It was cool. And you can feel that this was something that was missing, you know, being outside without like freezing to death. Oh, and I went to the farmers market in Frankfurt downtown and was eating, you know, it's time I'm recording it, it's Friday. And with some things, you know, I'm just crazy. Every Friday I'm eating the same thing. In German we call it halbes Hähnchen. In English that's something like a half of a chicken. And the way we are doing it here is it's like they put it on a spear like thing with a lot of other chickens, and then it's like roasted, grilled, barbecued, whatever, and it's for hours. It's just turning around, you know, over a flame, and with a real simple spice mix, salt, pepper, and bell pepper, and something like this. But it's just delicious, you know, and it's served. So when you order it, they're getting it off the grill, and then they cut it in half, and you're getting half of it, together with French fries usually. So, and there's this guy on the farmers market who's selling it. Due to the lockdown, you're not allowed to eat on the farmers market, so you're getting it in a little bag and you're going like 50 meters away and you're eating it there. And I'm doing this every Friday, you know, for years. So, this Friday, nice weather, checking out the farmers market and getting my chicken. It was delicious. Then I paid a visit to the Davidoff flagship store. Lounge is still closed, but just stopping by, saying hi to the people there, and I was bought some stuff. Kentucky Fire Cured. I had my last ones over here, so needed to refill it. Then I asked, as usual, something new, guys? Nothing new, unfortunately. But my humidor's packed anyhow, so maybe it's good there's no new stuff out there. Then I had 2 interesting discussions. Oh, guys, you know, before I keep on talking, let's drink something. Today, a very, very good Japanese whiskey. It's the Nikka Coffey Malt. It's from Nikka, and let me tell you a little bit about it while drinking it or pouring it into my Frankfurter Stumper tumbler. One of my all-time favorite whiskeys. If you guys really looking for something, and it's not so expensive. You know, also whiskeys from Japan tend to be a little bit more expensive, but this one's cool. Here in Germany, it's around, I think, 49, 45 euros or so. As I said, for a Japanese whiskey, that's a good price, and it's an excellent whiskey. Cheers, my friends. Good health. Enjoy life. Wonderful. Caramel. And actually, it has a flavor note of coffee. Also, the name Coffey Malt has absolutely nothing to do with coffee. So here's the story. There's a guy called, I think Irish, called Nikka Coffey. And it's not even spelled like coffee. You just pronounce it this way, see? EY at the end, not double E. So Nikka Coffey invented a new still, and they use it still today in some distilleries. It's called the coffee still. It's a column still, and here's the deal. What the Japanese did with this whiskey. Usually, the coffee still is used for grain whiskies, and they used it for malt whiskies. So they're distilling a malt whiskey in a still that is usually used for grain whiskies, and there you're getting this special flavor. It's real unique. I never tasted a whiskey like this. I mean, it's still whiskey and has all the basic flavors that a whiskey has, but there are some notes on it that no other whiskey has. So guys, give it a try. If you're really into this whiskey game, you need to check out the Nikka Coffey Malt. And our Cohiba Robusto. Excellent. So, I had two very interesting discussions this week. One today with my oldest daughter, and I think like yesterday or the day before yesterday with some stranger on Instagram. Let me start with the Instagram story. Guys, that was hilarious. I screenshotted it. I will paste it in here, but I will read it to you. Hang on. So there's this guy on Instagram, right? And there's he commented some picture from somebody else. It really doesn't matter. So he's saying, very annoying how the non-Cuban brands of Cuban cigars try to appropriate the long history and traditions in their advertising. And then further, he's answering. So the guy who posted the picture originally said, agreed, those non-Cuban brands of Cuban cigars, to be honest, are borderline not smokable in terms of enjoyment. Also, what happened to all the copyrights of brands in the United States? Question mark. Why does it only not apply on Cuban cigars? And then his answer. Lots of fishy details. The claim is that the legitimate owners of the brands came to the US and sold them as was their rights to US tobacco companies. I refuse to even try these cigars and consider them abominations. There are some very good and interesting cigars outside of Cuba. I would include most patrons, especially the higher tier Oliva Melanio V5 and CAO Brasilia. They have unique flavors distinctive from Habanos, but there are no non-Cubans parallels to cigar likes R.A. the Ramon Alones, Joyo de Monterrey, Romeo Julieta, or others. I answered, guy. I said, dude, you must have smoked other Cubans than I've smoked the last couple of years. Because the Cubans I smoked, a lot of them just suck, you know. So this guy says he never smoked non-Cuban. So he never smoked a cigar that has a Cuban brand name that is non-Cuban because he considers them abominations. Fucking crazy. Hey, there are some very good cigars out there that are using original Cuban names, but are non-Cuban cigars coming from Nicaragua, Honduras, whatever. Very few very good cigars, you know. Not few, a lot of good cigars actually. I mean, if you watched my humidor tour, you saw that I have a lot of Cuban cigars, you know. But we all know of the quality issues they have, you know. If you have a Cuban cigar that's working out good, that's an excellent cigar. But very often you have just issues, you know, like the draw issues or whatever, you know. So definitely Cuban cigars are not what they used to be like 20 years ago, you know. Totally different. On the other hand, however, I smoked non-Cuban Romeo Julietas, and they were fantastic. I still remember an H. Upmann, that was the H. Upmann Churchill by A.J. Fernandez. That was such a good cigar. Wonderful, you know. One exception is the Cohiba, the non-Cuban Cohiba line. And Daniel and I had a discussion about it on Instagram and on YouTube. And I said, man, I never had a good Cohiba, never had a good non-Cuban Cohiba. Every single non-Cuban Cohiba I had just sucked, you know. And he said, well, he never had problem with the cheaper ones, but every Cohiba he was smoking like that was above $20 or so sucked, you know. Might be right. Frankly, I never had one of the cheaper Cohibas, non-Cuban Cohibas. So I don't know, but might be possible. I trust his words, you know. He's know what he's talking about. So, but I had a lot of other non-Cuban Cubans, and they were good. So, how can you say you refuse to smoke them just because of the name? Man, that reminds me of my kids that are refusing to eat something, like their veggies or something, you know. I always say you have to, at least you have to try, you know. If you don't like it, cool, but you have to try, man. That's a grown-up man, you know. So I don't know. First thing. Secondly, I agree that I think it's somehow strange that I think only on the US market that there are cigars who are using original Cuban names. But if you are diving a little bit deeper into the topic, you figure that a lot of them are not so clear, you know. I give you one example. Alonso Menendez, a Cuban who left Cuba like in the 60s, 50s or 60s, you know. And he was the owner of Monte Cristo, the Cuban brand Monte Cristo, and a Japan. He left Cuba. And he was like fleeing to Brazil, where then he and his son, I think Felix Menendez, but not quite sure right now, opened another cigar factory, which was then run under his name, Alonso Menendez. So that's just one example. You have a guy who had to left Cuba for whatever reason. We all know revolution, blah blah blah. So a lot of lives were in danger back then. So he had to left Cuba, but he was the legitimate owner of Monte Cristo and A. Japan. But the Cubans continued to, of course, produce Monte Cristo and A. Japans, but now under government jurisdiction, you know. So who's in right? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, you know, but just on the first glance looking at it, I mean, it's not so clear like some people stealing names and producing cigars, you know. With some brands might be, like I said, man, I'm not a lawyer, but I know a lot of cases where you could argue that the original owners of the names, they had to left Cuba and started a new business, you know. So it's not so obvious, you know, like he claimed it is. But you know, the thing that triggered me was he said like I refuse to smoke them because I consider them abominations. That was something like I was reading it and I thought like, man, that's just crazy, you know. So what's your problem? At least try them. So guys, what are you thinking about that? With all the non-Cuban, with all the Cuban brands but non-Cuban cigars in the United States, is that an issue? Um, I don't know. Let me know what you think. It might be interesting to discuss about that because it seems like a couple of people are between chairs there. The burn here of my Cohiba is a little bit, see, wavy. Flavors are great though. Well, let's see what happens. second discussion just today with my oldest daughter. Like she planned, maybe I was talking about last week or so, she planned to go to a protest today. She didn't go, but this is another story. It was not my fault. I said you can go if you want to, but she wanted to go together with her with one of her friends, and she like wasn't feeling so good, and my daughter said I don't want to go alone, and so on. Okay, fine. And it was like last year in a small city called Hanau. That's in the I don't want to say Frankfurt suburbs, but it's like 25 minutes away. And last year, and that's the first like anniversary, so to say. So last year there was a mass shooting, and somebody killed, I think, 9 people. And it was the guy who was killing the people. They were saying he's a racist, and that's why he killed these people. So there was like this. Everybody was, all the media was writing today about it because like exactly 1 year passed and so on. But the discussion was not about that. It was just the background. Why she was asking me that, what I'm telling you now. Because she was saying like, that's not okay that this guy killed the people. I said, of course. And then I asked her what was her motivation of going to the protest, because I mean I'm absolutely fine, free speech and so on. You can protest against whatever you want, or for whatever you want, however. And the answer wasn't so clear, But after a while, we were coming to, we were hopping from this guy killed the people to death in general. And then she was asking, like, are you afraid of dying? And I said, like, do you? And she said no. And I said, well, I don't think so. You're 16 years old now, her 17th birthday is like next month. And she said no. I was thinking a lot about it, and thinking about it, and dealing with that topic in general. And I said, your opinion about that, or you're now so sure, but that can change in the future. Why? Because like in 10 years from now, you will have other experiences, and maybe you had a few moments that can change your opinion about that. One thing would be like you never faced death in your environment. So no one of your loved ones, friends, whatever died. You don't know that, You don't know that feeling. And secondly, it might happen that at some point in your life, and I hope that will never happen, but it can happen, that your life is in danger, your own life. And maybe you think you will die, or you are sure you're dying, and then you're not dying. and that can change everything, you know. And then when you've made all that experiences, maybe your opinion about I'm not afraid of dying might change. Because maybe in a couple of years you have to lose a little bit more. Maybe you have your own kids or whatever, you know, and then everything can change. So she asked me if I'm afraid of dying. I said no. Why? And I said because all the experience I just described that can happen to you, I faced all that already. And I'm still here and still not afraid. And I have a very strong belief what happens after death. So I have a solid background, a solid belief system that it's like a rock, you know. And it's not easy to shake that. So that's why I'm not afraid. And I can say that with sureness, because I made all these experiences and I learned my lessons, you know. Plus, I'm like 47 years old, and I'm not a big fan of, like, just because I'm older I know a lot of things, but I know these things. There might be even things that she knows better, you know. Like, for example, she's has nothing to do with death now, but for example, she's very good at drawing, for example, that. And so she could explain me how to draw this and that, you know. And a few other things. But nothing beats life experience, you know, in most cases. So you just have to wait, live your life, let the years pass, and then you know a lot of things. You know, there's this one t-shirt I saw the other day. It says, like, there's a cigar on the front, and it says, I smoke cigars and I know things. That's it. That was hilarious. I love that shirt. Okay, I was talking too much. That's a pity. Paid no attention to my cigar, god damn it. So that was an interesting week. But other than that, geez, I just relaxed. Really nothing to do. I was just like, I'm pissed because of the postal service that really sucks at the moment. You know, guys, I had in total 3 shipments. 2 of them were going to the United States, and 1 of them is going to Canada. None of them arrived by now. That's fucking ridiculous. And I'm looking like every day, so, okay, where are you? And like 2 of them have a rough idea where they are right now, you know, but they're not very detailed in their description. Like when you're looking at the tracking. And the other shipment has the same status. The last update was at the 19th of January. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, superstar. What the fuck is going on with the postal service? And I mean, and I think it's everywhere the same, you know. Over here we're using mostly DHL, but the Canadian Post and the USPS, they all suck. They all suck, man. But Sooner or later, I know the packages will arrive, I'm sure. The next time, Ranch suggested that use a carrier pigeon. It might be faster. Yes, it might be faster. Oh, but, man. Great cigar. I don't know if you can hear that. My window's open. And outside, there's some guys. They're yelling all the time. I don't know what, like. It sounds like they are young like 16, 19, whatever, like in that age, and they're like 100 meters away from here. Here are some of these youngsters. Like that's their get together place, you know. And sometimes they, I don't know what's going on, but sometimes they're a little bit crazy. In general, I have no problem with these guys, you know, but sometimes when it's late and now it's after midnight, I think, man, I have no problem with it, but maybe a few of my neighbors, like they're working night shift or whatever, you know, gotta show a little bit of respect, okay? If you want to yell, man, go somewhere else. I don't care, but don't do that over here. And in the last 2 or 3 years, I had like 2 or 3 confrontations with a few of them, and I always like showed them that like don't fuck with me. I might be an old fart, but it's still good enough for you. So don't test me, because I will kick your ass. Believe me. And most of the time it just worked, you know. I never had to get physical. Just looking at them and like talking, and then they are sure might be not a good idea. And so I'm cool with them, you know. And I know that sort of behavior because when I was young I was the same. I was the same fucking idiot. The same, you know. Just with a little bit more respect, frankly. Guys. You know what is very relaxing? And that is like the first time in years. At the moment, I have no plan. And with no plan, I mean, at the moment I have nothing to do, nothing specifically, like a job or a project or whatever. Like at the moment, there's nothing, you know. Leaving aside like Smoker Spot, doing videos or podcast with the Frankfurter Stumbe guys and so on. But that's just like it's not like I have to spend like 8 hours per day doing that, you know. So I have no plan, and there's nothing in sight, really. So I'm just like floating, you know, through the weeks at the moment, with nothing to do other than smoking cigars and taking care of my garden and visiting like the farmers market and uh, binge watching Netflix, stuff like that, or playing with the PlayStation 5 and stuff like that, you know. And for at the moment, that's cool. But I assume in a few weeks from now, I will probably get like nervous. Well, maybe not nervous, but you have to do something, you know. Something productive. And I don't know what that will be at the moment, but for most of my life, it always was the same thing. Like something will happen, you know. Something will come to you, an opportunity, a chance, or something like this. You know, it will come to you. You just have to be patient enough, and it will happen. And still, I strongly believe in when you're doing good things will come to you. And I just hope that I did a lot of good things. So I hope a lot of good things will call me back. Not just joking. That's not what I'm expecting. But as I said, something will happen. It was, for most of my life, it was like this, you know. And in Germany, I was saying that goes like, wenn sich eine Tür schließt, öffnet sich die andere. And in English, that means if one door closes, another one will open. And that always was the same thing in my life. But for the moment, I'm really happy with not having a plan. I don't know if that makes sense somehow, but hope you know what I mean. Oh, actually, I said it was I don't know if I said like it was a boring week or something like this, but Monday, there was something, there was a special day. Really special. And I wasn't, I think in the first Night Owl episode or on the second one, I said something like, I'm not planning anything here on the Night Owl. I'm just sitting there smoking a cigar, and whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth, you know. No preparations, no planning, no researching, nothing. Just sitting here talking, you know. And that's still 100% true. But like yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I started thinking about doing the Night Owl session and when I will do it. And then I had already that experience from Monday, and I was thinking, okay, I'm not sure if I want to mention it or not, and but then I was like pushing it aside, and I think, okay, when I'm doing the Night Owl, it might happen or not, you know. So here's the story. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2015. Back then for like $200. And since then, starting in 2015, I continuously bought Bitcoin. Like when I had a little bit money left, bought Bitcoin. Finishing that project, got my paycheck, and I had something left, bought Bitcoin. And I was like going on every day, maybe not every day, but on every possible occasion since 2015. And I have a lot of friends, buddies, that are working in the financial sector somehow, like Frankfurt stock market, or they working for private equity bullshit and so on. And so a lot of experts. And I always said, guys, I have no clue what you guys are doing there. But I know one thing, that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, that are the future. Mark my words. That thing will go to the moon one day. So, buying Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but let's stick to Bitcoin because that was my main investment. So, and at one point, I thought like, okay, I'm like not, I wasn't, and again in Germany we have a saying like, geboren mit einem goldenen Löffel im Arsch. And that means you were born with a golden spoon in your ass. And that means like you were born rich, like your parents were rich or you're coming from a rich family, whatever. And that's totally not the case with me. I was raised in one part of Frankfurt. It was always like not the best part of the city, I put it that way. And my mom raised me alone. She was working all day long, her ass off, cleaning up for some people, and like we never had money, really. There was always something to eat in the fridge, and I always had clothes that were looking okay, but that's it, okay? No like vacations or holidays or stuff that's wasn't in the budget. And I joined the military when I was 17, voluntarily for years. And that was the first time I was making money. And I had a pretty rough time after that. And so I know what it's like to not knowing how to paying your next rent, or don't know how to fill my fridge, and just eating like soups out of bags. So, but at some point I was the idea like working smarter, not harder. So and slowly but surely I've made my way, earning a little bit more money and so on and so on, and until like when I think by the time I was 30 I was doing okay. Still not like having a lot of money, but doing okay. So that's the background. And at one point, like I said, 2015 first Bitcoin and so on, I said to the experts, that's the future, because ABC, that's not so important right now. And at one point I decided that put everything I have, into cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. And I also said to all my buddies, 100% of my savings are in Bitcoin. I have no 401k, I have nothing. All I have is in Bitcoin. Because I believe back then that is the future, and that will make a lot of money one day. So 2017, in December, we had the first so-called bull run. Bitcoin was going to $20,000. I still had Bitcoin. I bought more. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020. All the time buying Bitcoin. And like after the first bull run was finished, people were asking me, what's a good point of selling your Bitcoin? And I said, back then, I said, I will only sell my Bitcoin when it's $50,000. And they were thinking like, I'm fucking crazy. They thought I'm crazy. People were asking me, when's a good point buying Bitcoin? I said, buy it now. Buy it now. And every time they were asking me, I said, buy it now. Because you will see, that flight to the moon will happen. So last Monday, Bitcoin passed the $50,000 mark. And that was crazy. The weeks before it was already like 45,000, 48,000. But my plan was selling it when it's 50,000. Not 48,000. Not 49,000. 50. And I learned one thing when it was coming to financial things. Stick to your plan. No matter what happens, stick to your plan. I stick to my plan. Bitcoin passed 50,000. And Monday, that was the day I was selling all my Bitcoins. Every single Bitcoin I owned sold. And there was a feeling like, wow. And why I'm telling, it's not because I want to say like something like, oh man, look how many Bitcoins I owned and I sold them all. It comes back to this, to I was telling you guys, at the moment I have no plan, because that was my plan, since 2015, and that plan is like completed now. And that's feeling damn good. That's what I wanted to say, I completed the plan successfully, despite all the experts saying, you're fucking crazy. You have to diversify your savings. I said no. No, no, no. You can keep your fucking 2% per year. That shit will bring me you have over there. I don't care about that, I'm coming from the project with no money. And that's all I have. And I'm making that bet on that card, on that single card. And that has to be successful or not. But not playing around with your tiny bullshit that you are giving me. Other guys are making the big money, and they're giving you like 2% per year. Not even that, I said, fuck you. That's not going to work with me. The plan worked out. It was fucking great. This Monday was like, man, I was speechless, I was just sitting there for hours and just thinking, okay, man, that's it. It happened. So, here I am, smoking my Cohiba Robusto. any other cigar. And just a happy puppy. The cigar looks, frankly, awful. Like the burn is a catastrophe at the moment. Really. But the taste is so great. And it's working somehow, you know. Despite the fact that the wrapper is looking like shit. But it's a cool cigar. You know, it will not win a prize for the best look. But it's working. The draw is perfect. Crazy. Taste is great. The burn sucks. As my brother Ranch used to say, Prost. And for all you guys who don't know, Prost means cheers in German. Crazy week, guys. Uh, 58 minutes. Good time. How long are you smoking that Robusto? Like an hour, roughly? That what happened last week, smoker spot wise. Finally publishing the Humidor tour. I was so happy. There was a lot of work, but I really appreciated that you guys liked it. I hope that you would like it. And just by the time I'm recording this yesterday, I was bringing the unboxing of the new Davidoff Winston Churchill. Great. Was waiting for that one. Next week, so Monday, the night owl session, like when you're watching it today. And I'm flipping the schedule a little bit, because usually we're doing the Cigar Talk on a Wednesday and the reviews on a Friday, but the coming week I will publish the review of the Winston Churchill limited edition on Wednesday, and on Friday there will be a new Cigar Talk. Why? Because, you know, the Davidoff Winston Churchill is new, no one reviewed it by now, so it's good to be the first one, because it's good to be the first one. And I have a cigar talk about aficionado. What it is, can you be one? And like this. I think you will enjoy it. I hope so. Yeah, that's it for the coming week. A lot of Instagram stuff. I hope all my other brothers will release something. Ranch, Daniel, 505, Cigar Review Show, My First Cigar, and all the others that I'm following. Because at the moment I have enough time watching YouTube videos, you know. So guys, bring it on. I want to see a lot of cigar reviews and cigar talks and whatever. Because when you have no plan, it's good to have something to do. And if it's just watching YouTube videos, it's just watching YouTube videos. You know what I'm really missing in the lockdown is cinemas. Man, I'm such a big cinema fan, you know. And man, the last time I watched a movie in the cinema 1.5 years ago, because the cinemas were one of the first things that were closing. And that sucks big time. You know, I'm loving Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that shit, you know, but I'm old school, man. I'm 47 years old. I'm fucking grandpa already. Not yet, but I'm almost 50, you know. So old school, still going to the cinemas, you know, because it's something different, you know. Buying your popcorn, buying your Coke, and or whatever, sitting there watching the movies, you know. Nothing can beat that, you know. No matter how big your flat screen is, cinema is cinema. And Sunday, a new podcast with my Frankfurter Stumpe family. It will be fun. Always looking forward to that. Will be a good week next week. My daughters are doing good in school at the moment. Also still homeschooling and stuff like that, but it's good. I have my new barbecue. There will be a lot of fun. Because the weather forecast already said next week will be very good, you know. So I will be standing probably every day on my smoker and doing like pulled pork, spare ribs, and smoked chicken. Jesus Christ, man. I will eat like crazy. Yesterday, a guy on LinkedIn, I don't know, you probably know LinkedIn, right? That business network stuff. Like he was sending over a friendship request, and over there you're calling it like a networking request. I was accepting it, and he's like a personal trainer. He said like, if I, oh man, I was stumbling over your profile, and a lot of my clients are coming from the same business you are doing. And I thought, how do you know what business I'm doing, man? But anyways, and I'm a personal trainer, and if you know, if you have some buddies or colleagues or whatever, let them know I'm open for new clients, you know. And by the way, if you want to, just holler at me, you know. And I was like, dude, man, I'm smoking like fucking 5 cigars per day, and I'm eating like everything fried, you know. So I'm the wrong guy, man. I was doing a lot of sports when I was young, you know. But nowadays, man, I'm just sitting here in my mini lounge, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, and living the good life. And no, sir, I'm sorry. But frankly, I have to do a little bit more, you know. I'm getting too lazy lately. But I will get in shape again, because now the spring and summer is coming, and you know, riding my bike, and bike I mean motorcycle, and I'm planning I have this Yamaha Max 1200 for 150 horsepower. That thing is crazy and I love it. But it's a cruiser, you know. Like, it's not like a super sport bike. It's like a more the cruiser type, you know. Well, you can Google it if you want to, or maybe you already know that. That model. But for months now, I'm playing around with an Indian. They're getting kind of popular here in Germany lately. You know, for years it was just Harley Davidson. But for the new Harley Davidsons, they're a little bit too fancy looking, you know. I like it old school. So I was always looking for some of the Indian models, and don't know, man. I think probably I will get one. I'm not sure right now, but I'm really thinking about that. What do you think? Harley Davidson, Indian? Decisions. Still an awful looking wrapper. Look at that shit. But man, the taste is great. I will just finish it. I think I will have another Nikka Coffey Malt. Prost. Okay, let's burn that little bit of a wrapper that is looking over here. Since it's so early, you know, I already know I'm going to bed like between 3 and 4 o'clock. 3 or 4 a.m. And it's very early for me. Not a bit tired. So I think when I'm finished here in the next couple of minutes, think Red Dead Redemption 2 is calling me. Play a little bit. And see what the night will bring. Guys, that was a cool night out session. I enjoyed it, really. I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope you can smoke a good cigar. Really, really enjoy life. It's the only one we have. And most importantly, and I mean that, stay safe, stay healthy. And I hope to see you around at Smoker Spot. Have a good night. Cheers.